says, thus, in the verse, asakta refers to a person who enjoys a certain control. Remember that? You see what I am? It says, otherwise, one's raga dveshas alone will decide what one should do. Whatever fancies happen along, the person will simply join them and do whatever comes to mind. Convenience instead of what is right becomes a rule here, though any action may be against dharma. The karma yogi, on the other hand, has a certain control over his or her organs of action and sense organs. We use the word certain here because even though the person is a karma yogi, he still is an ajna, who is one who is ignorant with reference to the self. Thus, even though this person may have some omissions or commissions, there is always a degree of control. So being not impelled by karma phala alone, meaning by the results of karma, interested only in antakayana shuddhi and moksha, which means purification of the mind and freedom, then the karma yogi does what has to be done. The idea conveyed here is that technically purification of the mind is a result of one's actions. But because purification of the mind is not born out of raga dvesha based action, it is not referred to as a karma phala in the usual sense. When you say you want to gain moksha, you mean that you want to know Atma, which means you want to know Ishvara. Antakayana shuddhi is for understanding Ishvara. Then it gets nailed down here. Okay, this is what the whole thing is about. Okay, so here when we talked about the karma yogi, how even though he's a karma yogi, there's a how do you call this, a relative, a degree of control. When we talked about the four mentalities, we said there was an instinctive, then there was a mechanical, and there was a what? Deliberate, okay? The deliberate person, is trying to get self-control. Okay, he's very conscious about it, and he or she has seen something that needs to be attained. He's no longer mechanical or instinctive. Now he's deliberate about it. So he watches his eyes, he watches his tongue, he watches his actions, he watches his mind. Where is he going? Like that. But then, this is a very deliberate thing, like learning how to drive. Okay? He's never done it before, but now the guy is even stumbling upon himself. Like that. Now, but then, he gains a certain degree of control. In other words, he becomes what? After deliberate, comes what? Spontaneity. And that's a relative spontaneity. It's just a karma yogi. This guy, he wants to become a karma yogi, the one that's deliberate. He found out that the nature of himself is Atma, Brahman, which is Brahman, the whole. This was unfolded to him by the Shastra and by his Guru. And now the fellow knows that this is binding, meaning, what do you call this? To be instinctive only, and to be only mechanical is binding. In other words, he's not minding the stories where he's bound by that. So raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, rule the person. Here the fellow is trying not to be ruled anymore by raga dvesha. So there's a wonderful thing that to see there, but it's against dharma. He still wants to go there, but he doesn't want to go there. Why? Because he's a dharmic. So the guy is struggling with himself. Okay. The other guy, the fourth one. The third one is the fourth one is a degree of mastery. It's a relatively a master. But then he has not achieved what? Absolute spontaneity. In other words, in a sense that he is already established in the self. The fellow is already established in the self, it doesn't even come to the mind. It's like the person that quit smoking at the beginning. You're gonna fight the thing. You have to realize that you don't want to do it anymore. But then mechanically, instinctively, you go back again to the cigarette. So you decide not to, and you struggle. I use this example, because it's... And then one day, then he doesn't think about it anymore. And even though the cigarette smoke is around there, but it doesn't even cross his mind. To think about having a cigarette is so out of his mind is to think of taking a fistful of dirt and put it in his mouth. No problem. The guy has conquered it, isn't it? So the sita prajna, the person that's established in the self, that is going through these particular stages, it doesn't even enter his mind. He doesn't have to do anything, he has no control at all. The will doesn't enter into the picture. In the second, in the karma yogi, the will enters into the picture. And he has developed a degree of spontaneity. But the guy is still has these omissions and commissions. Okay, you have to know that. Now, why do we have to know it? Let me put it this way. Okay, watch this. So he was studying Vedanta. And the knowledge is, I am that whole. I am the one that is free from want completely. But then my mind is full of wants. Okay? You see what I'm talking about? I am the one because of which everything is. I lack anything, kind of a thing. But then, but I want that. So you say, I shouldn't want it. Right? I shouldn't want it. I say, wait a minute, you should want it. Why? Garbage in, garbage out. What are you talking about? The nature of yourself is complete, isn't it? Yes, I am the whole, okay? But then there's this orientation, these commissions and omissions. Ragadvesha is playing this role. I shouldn't have that thought. I shouldn't have that inclination. Hey, wait a minute, why you shouldn't? You should have it. Why? Because one day you put it in and it's coming out. So what do I do? What do I do? Don't let it rule you. See the idea? The eyes go in a particular way, the mind goes in a particular way. Ragadvesha. Is it dharmic? Fine. Is it adharmic? No, sir. Thank you, but no thank you. Is it hard at the beginning? It is hard at the beginning. See the idea? So self-condemnation is not going to be there. Because you have those thoughts, because you have those inclinations, those things that are something you don't want to have. Because now you found out they actually take you down. So you realize, wait a second, I am the self, I am the whole, and my mind, my life is dedicated to apprehend that completely. But in the meantime, garbage will come out, the garbage will come out. So I'm not going to condemn myself, because if I condemn myself, I'm completely condemning myself, and I'm nothing to be condemned about. Who I am is perfect. This mind still has the old tape. See the idea? So it is a very good thing to know this, because otherwise one becomes one's worst enemy. And not only that, then there's hypocritical approach to life. Then you start checking others. You see, he's a sinner. See, that's a sin. It's the sins all over the place. Why? Because you got me here, and then you say you're playing the thing that I have no sins. Look at all of them have sins. It's become hypocritical. You see the idea? And what it is, you're actually holding back your own growth. Why? Because you are deluding yourself. I said, wait a minute, I got those things. And of course it's supposed to be there. Oh no, it's not supposed to be there. According to the Shastra, it should be pure. I am Brahman. Well, that's according, you're Brahman, but the mind still thinks you're this jiva. And then the jiva has wants. So these wants, let them be there, no problem. But let them exhaust themselves and don't just surrender. Surrender. Let it go. Don't dwell on them, because if you dwell on what you're doing, you're actually stifling your own personal maturity. That's the thing. You say, oh, I'm being a hypocrite. Why? Because I go to the temple and I do this, pujas and this and that and so on. And I say, wait a minute, just raise the quality a little higher. Not just for me, mine. Think about this. And not just do it in terms of a ritual or a prayer, but actually do something for others. And the ones closer to you, they need for you to, to express your love, and so on. That's where you start. That's the point of this thing here. I think that's an important point. Is there any confusion, any questions about this? Yes.
I'm still confused with asakta and karma yogi.
What do you think? Okay, this is asakta. What is it? This is asakta and what is karma yogi? Who is an asakta? One who what?
The one who is unattached.
Unattached. Which means that that raga dveshas don't rule the person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same with the karma yogi, right?
Well, yeah. But karma yogi is he who, whoever he be, that now is seeking for the higher and make his actions yoga. Okay, so because of that, he becomes asakta. Meaning what? Jesus, I think, that shows this in the Bible. There's a story that he went to the top of the mountain, and then the devil was up there, and then he offered this and all that, and he says, "Get away from me, devil! That's not what I want." He was offered kingdoms and all that, like Nachiketas. So he had the mind in an ideal, and then because of that, he said no to raga dveshas, like that. Devil here means raga dveshas, like that. So he's a karma yogi. Why? Because he elevated. So he does have desires, but the desires go into a higher realm. Instead of rajas tamas, becomes what? Sattva rajas. Rajas directed towards sattva. You see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Activity dynamism, but for the sake of sattva, to purify the mind. So an asakti is someone that is actually grown out of his raga dveshas.
So he is same as karma yogi.
It's the same as a karma yogi, that's correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because
Yeah.
then why they have said the karma yogi on the other hand? That means there is some difference, right?
Yeah. It has some control with, you see, well, he's talking about, you see, he's comparing the karma yogi to the guy that is ruled by raga dveshas. Let me read it again. Thus, in this verse, asakta refers to a person who enjoys a certain control. Otherwise, okay, here is one's raga dveshas alone will decide what one should do. Okay, otherwise, okay, whatever fancies happen along, otherwise, whatever fancies happen along, the person will simply join them and do whatever comes into mind, whatever is convenient. Okay, and then he says, on the other hand, the karma yogi, okay, which is referring not to the guy who says otherwise, the raga dveshas. See, so there is one which is an asakti, okay, and he has self-control. If he doesn't have that, then the raga dveshas win. But then on the other hand, meaning what? Contrary to the guy that is ruled by raga dveshas, the karma yogi is not ruled by karma. So he is an asakta.
Contrary to the asakta.
The asakta, the asakta, yes.
Okay.
You see the idea? The sentence, the way the structure of the paragraph will then, if you don't pick up the first line, then you might think that if you don't pick up the second sentence, you might think he's referring to the first line. See, the first sentence is actually the karma yogi is the one that is referred to in the first sentence.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. So let's go on to the next part then. So this Ishvara, this pursuit of knowledge of Ishvara, okay, can be, let's see, I can qualify my life if I say I'm seeking the Lord, let's just say, or if I'm seeking moksha. Then, if I'm not seeking for Antakadana Shuri, then saying that I'm seeking moksha or Ishvara is not true. Understand the point? If I say I want to get fit, let's say financially fit, economically fit, that's what I say I want. I want economical freedom. Okay? And then if I am a spendthrift, filling out the credit cards and all that stuff, and I'm not trying to clean my life of debt. On the contrary, I keep adding to it, then I can just talk that I'm looking for economical freedom, but I'm not really doing it. So if I say I'm a seeker of truth, or Brahman, or I want moksha, or I want to recognize Ishvara, no Ishvara directly, which is the same thing. And I'm not committed to Antakarana Shuddhi, then it's all talk. Understand the point? This is the last paragraph. It says, when you say you want to gain moksha, you mean that you want to know Atma, which means you want to know Ishvara. Then, Antakarana Shuddhi is for understanding Ishvara. So, without Antakarana Shuddhi, without purification of the inner equipment, there is no pursuit of Ishvara, no pursuit of Atma, no pursuit of Brahman. I don't care how much rituals and how much everything you do, it is not what you do, it is the attitude at which you do it that will render a mind freer and freer from raga dveshas. Remember that Antakarana Shuddhi, purification of the mind, has a very particular meaning in terms of emotions. What did I say some years ago, some months ago? What does Antakarana Shuddhi mean? If my mind is Ashuddhi, what does it mean in terms of feelings compared to a mind that is Shuddhi, or Shuddha, whatever you call it? What does it mean in terms of feelings?
You don't get the negative feelings.
Okay, meaning?
All this
you are tranquil.
depression,
Sorrow,
jealousy,
jealousy, greed, anger, lust, and all that stuff. So, the pursuit of Antakarana Shuddhi is to be able to cut from the roots that which makes me sad, angry, and all that stuff. Now, and how do I do that? Is it by then recognizing Ishvara, the Lord, is the giver of the results of actions. And number two, recognizing the Dharma, proper relationships. Healthy relationships is actually the best worship to the Lord. So then, you relate in a way that is compassionate, loving, accommodating, all the stuff. And then what will happen, the heart of the mind, the heart of the person, whose Antakarana is Shuddhi, will be free from angers, jealousies, and all that stuff. So the measuring rod for my mind is to see what degree in the course of 24 hours is my mind ruled by Ashuddhi, and what degree my mind is ruled by Shuddhi. How angry am I all the time? How depressed am I all the time? How jealous am I all the time? Am I comfortable with myself? Or does anything bug me? Am I bugged by everything and everyone? A person that's Antakarana Shuddhi, has Antakarana Shuddhi, is not bugged. Doesn't mean he likes everything, but he's not thrown over by it. Is that the right word? Not thrown over by it. Doesn't mean you have to like everything. As long as you like something you don't like. But they don't knock you out. The person who's Shuddhi, who's Ashuddha, that person, the person that has impurity in the mind, even what he doesn't eat makes him sick. You know what I'm talking about? Even what he has to put in his mouth makes him sick. It's just a way to say that even if they're not talking about me, even if they're not doing anything to me, that makes me angry. That makes me depressed. So it's a kind of life. That's the thing. So that's how I measure my life. So if I am seeking moksha and I'm seeking Ishvara, then I must be working towards surrendering the results of the actions of the Lord, and then living a life which is in alignment with Dharma. Otherwise, even if I say so, even if I come to classes, even if I do rituals, even if I do this and that, you know, there's still something to be achieved. I mean, you know, so it can become true. Otherwise, it's not true. And it's interesting. I mean, let's suppose it's not true. And I realize, you know what? I'm just kidding myself. I'm just being a hypocrite. Now, does that mean I should stop? No. But you can be a hypocrite yesterday, but you know, just confront your situation. That's it. And start working on that. You see the idea? I mean, cannot do anything about yesterday or a few minutes ago, but I can do something about right now. And I can make a decision. This is instead of being a reactive person, I'm going to start thinking about it a little bit more. When? Right now. It's not like going on a diet. It says, next year, for sure I'm going to go on a diet.
The beginning of the year.
Tomorrow, I'll start. That's the point. So that's why he's bringing these things up. Because one can be one's worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame. There's no need for that. But it can happen. It can happen if you don't understand this. The understanding is very important. Okay.
Can one have pursued Antakarana Shuddhi and reaches the state, but he does not acknowledge that he has understood Ishvara? Can he do that? Can that happen?
Let me just say this in a simple way, the only way I can pick it up. A person that has understood Ishvara, it's not a matter of understanding Ishvara.
Right.
A person whose Antakarana is pure,
Yeah.
inner equipment. Person
Right.
is
Let's say
it's
this
sheer
yeah,
and joy.
the person
That is,
who reaches a stage.
there is a high level of enthusiasm
Mhm.
and a high level of clarity and cheer. You might not understand all the philosophy of it,
Mhm.
but you know what? Cheer and joy and are nothing but the expression of the Lord in your own heart. Understand that?
Yeah.
Anger, jealousy, all these negative emotions are nothing else but as it were a separation from. But you get to know the God, as you were.
Right.
When you're able, when the simple things in life, are amazing for you. When you're in a state of awe, when you have that capacity, like the children.
Mhm.
Children.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. So understanding Ishvara here is knowing Ishvara. Okay, and knowing is not in terms of knowing like in a book,
Right.
but knowing Ishvara in your heart, and then you'll be okay. We're going to see more about this. Okay, knowledge of the Lord is knowledge of oneself. Okay, because remember that a person that has a shuddhi cannot stand himself, cannot be with himself. It's always oneself is a problem. Okay, read the next part.
Knowledge of the Lord is knowledge of oneself. Whether we use the word knowing, gaining, reaching, or whatever, what is meant is knowledge of Ishvara, which is not separate from knowledge of the self. Between Jiva, the individual, and Ishvara, the Lord, there is identity, which is expressed as an equation. You are that. Tattvam Asi.
Tattvamasi, yes.
Tattvam Asi.
Now, so let me just make a pause here. If you think about it in this here, the words are used are between, what do you call this, quotes. Whether we use the word knowing, quote unquote, gaining, quote unquote, reaching, or whatever, what is meant is knowledge of Ishvara. Now, look at this. To know something or someone is to be with him or her. You can have reference to someone. See the idea? Somebody can tell me about you, and then describe you, and you're such a person, this and that, and so on. And I can know all about you, but I don't know you. Isn't it? She knows you. She knows you. Why? You're together.
Still love my
But the point is that you don't have a reference like I would have from him. Even if I come in every time, but the person that is with you all the time knows you. In a sense, not necessarily as a reference, as someone that saw a picture of or somebody told them about. So here, knowledge means coming to find him, her, it, whatever it is, as one with me, like that. See the idea? I can listen to a piece of music, and it can be amazing, but I will not commune with the author of that music unless I imbibe his feeling of when he wrote it, and I really identify with it. So knowledge of Ishvara is to recognize one's identity with the Lord. Identity, in this case, we talked about it last time. Identity usually is said of between two things, isn't it? But really speaking, it's actually as being me. As being me. Not identical meaning, my brother and I were identical. But he was him and I was me. No. Identical means that we're nothing but the same. There's no difference. Like the nature of the wave is the nature of the ocean. There's not two, it's only one. Now, from the standpoint of the wave, there's two, wave and ocean. From that standpoint, they're not identical, isn't it? Wave is small and temporary, ocean is huge and constant, eternal. But from the standpoint of the nature of the wave being H2O, and from the standpoint of the nature of the ocean being H2O, there's not two. That's what I mean by identity, in this case. These words have to be seen for what they mean. So that is what knowledge of Ishvara means. You can use to reach knowledge, whatever, but what it is to just abide in the truth of me, which is the truth of the universe. That is what he's actually defining this knowledge. Yeah. This is when they use the word knowing, gaining, reach, whatever, what is meant is knowledge of Ishvara, which is not separate from knowledge of the self. Why? Because they're the same. Between Jiva, individual, and Ishvara, the Lord, there is identity, there is sameness, which is expressed as an equation as Tat Tvamasi, you are that. There is no, see, there seems to be two, there's only one. Okay, go ahead, please.
That Tat refers to Ishvara, who is the cause of the world. Tat, Ishvara, you are Tvamasi. This equation naturally implies self-knowledge and also Ishvara knowledge. In this context, karma is performed for Antakarana Shuddhi, so that the knowledge of Ishvara can be gained, not for getting something out of Ishvara. Getting something out of Ishvara implies raga dveshas, whereas here we want to know what he is. We want to have the vision of Ishvara, which is something entirely different. Therefore, karma becomes yoga. Krishna described one who begins this yoga as far superior, to whom, in his commentary, Shankara refers back to the person mentioned in the previous verse, the one who outwardly performs no action but dwells inwardly upon all the sense objects that have been given up. Such a person can also be called lazy.
Okay, let's make a point. Is there a subtle distinction here on the relationship with Ishvara? Do you pick up the distinction on the relationship that a person can have with Ishvara?
Yeah, getting something out of Ishvara compared to Antakaran